Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be continuing with the Sangamaji Sutta where we stopped. So we have, is it the sound, the connection? So shall I turn off the video? Then it will be more.
Yeah, yes,
If the
but you
connection
can
is
turn
not
off
very
the
strong.
video.
Yeah, okay. So the Sangamaji Sutta, I think we did up to this part, which you can see in the screen. Yeah. So the Sangamaji Sutta, I think we should remind Venerable Sangamaji was he was actually as a layperson. He met the Buddha once and he listened to the Dhamma and he got enlightened. He became a Sotapanna. Then he wanted to get ordained, and after his ordination, when he came back, his wife, former wife, ex-wife, came to him and asked him to take care of her. And also, if not interested in wife, please take care of the child. So I think that's from the last paragraph. Atako asma sangamaji tangdaraka neva olokesi napi alapi. Who's going to translate this? Sally Vimananandi, can you translate? You okay because you did the explanation also.
So
possible?
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so from Atako Ayasma.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, Atako Ayasma Sangamaji Tam Darakam Newa Olokesi Napi Alapi Atako Ayasma To Sangamajisa Purana Dutiyika Aviduram Gantwa Apalokenti Adasa Ayasmantam Sangamajim Tam Darakam Newa Olokentam Napi Alapantam Diswanasa Eta Dahosi Na Chayam Samano Puttenapi Atikoti Te Tato Pati Ni Vattidwa Darakam Adaya Pakami. Adasako Bhagawa Dibena Chakuna Visudena Atikata Ma Nusakena Ayasmato Sangamajesa Puranadutikaya Ewarupam Vipakaram. So the meaning is then Venerable Sangamaji did not look at the child nor speak to.
Correct.
Then the Venerable Sangamaji's former wife, having gone not far,
Apalokenti is
Apalokenti is
turning back and looking, right?
turning back and looking.
She turned back and looking at the Sangam. Yeah,
She turned
watching
up
back,
okay.
observing, we can say. So this is a nominative absolute, right? This is a nominative absolute while turning back and looking.
While she was
turning back and looking, she saw.
Hello?
I think Bhante's connection is
He was turning back and looking.
Hello, Bhante. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. So then the venerable somebody is a former wife, Avidurangan. Yeah. We have a Jiran form. Hello. So we have a Jiran form. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll analyze this sentence. I think you all can see the screen, right? So here we have, which is analyze the sentence, we have Gantva is a past participle, Jara. Then Apolokenti. Okay. Rechargeable. Hello. Here we have few words. Now, if we analyze the gerund sentence, we have a gerund, then we have a past present participle here, Apolokenti, then we have the verb here, right? So this is how the sentence is divided. So these three words. So Gantva. So we have to analyze what is the object of Gantva, Avidurang, right? So subject of this sentence, Gantva, is Purana Dutika, the former wife, having gone not very far. The former wife of Venerable Sangamaji having gone not very far. Then Apolokenti is this is a present continuous tense. Apolokent, like Gachant. So it's a nominative case tense, Apolokenti. So when we have the present participle, we can have either a noun, as an adjective, or as a present part, as an absolute. Absolute, we have either locative case, genitive case, or nominative case. So here it's a nominative case because this is a feminine gender. There's Apolokenti. The stem also is Apolokenti, right? So it comes from upper plus look plus a plus ant, then plus long e, right? So this is ant, this is a present participle, and this is the feminine gender noun because this is done by a lady. So therefore, this is nominative absolute, while she was looking. Now you can translate other side saw. So object and what she saw is this. This is what he saw, what she saw. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So what she saw. Ayasmantan sangamajing tandarakan neva olokentan napi lapantanta. Napi alapanta. How do we translate this? Whom did she see?
Venerable Sangamaji,
Sangamaji, who
was not looking at the child nor speaking
Yeah.
to.
Not speaking to the child. Yes, good.
Yes.
Right. Shall we continue? Yeah.
Okay, so the next
Viswanasa
sentence,
ekadahos.
Viswanasa, okay. So having seen this,
Yeah.
this thought occurred to her.
Yes.
This monk is not in need of son.
Yeah.
And therefore, after turning back again and taking the child, she went
Yeah.
away.
Yes. Then last sentence, Adasako Bhagava, Buddha saw.
Atako Bhagava.
Adasako Bhagava, Dibena Chakuna.
Dibena Chakuna, Visudena.
Achikanta Manusakena.
With his divine eye, which was purified and surpassing human.
Yes.
The former wife of the Venerable Sangamaji had such a inappropriate action. Yeah.
So the action, so the inappropriate action of Venerable Sangamaji's former wife. Right? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the translation. Okay. So we'll analyze the sentence. It's a little bit complicated sentence, especially the second one. So Atako Ayasma Sangamaji Tandarakan Neva Olo Kesi Napil Alapi. So never, I think students are aware of this. Na eva. Right? Na eva. He didn't talk to him. Olo Kesi looked at it. Anapi Alapi. Na api. Become neither talked. So we translate normally. Didn't look at it, neither looked at him, nor talked with him. Atako Aspato Sangama Jissa Purana Dutika Avidurang Gantwa Apolokenti Adasa Ayasmanta Sangamajin Tavan Darakang Neva Olo Kintang Napi Alapanta. Right? So this is actually the sentence is finished. So then now in this sentence we can see there is a verb. And then here also we have a gerund form, we color it with a different color. We have gerund form, gantva. Then we have apolokenti, it's a present participle. We already mentioned the sentence become divided because of, so it's not clear. So become divided with these nouns, words, verb, gerund, and verb, gerund, and participles, infinitive, and a special noun with the nominative case. So here it's apolokenti is a present participle. So present participle has few functions, right? So if we go introduce, present participle has few functions. So the functions of present participle are functions of present participle. So functions of present participle are, it can act as a noun. It can as an adjective. It can act as an absolute. It can act as an absolute. Sometimes in some grammar books we find present participle. Very rarely we have found, but normally.
Sorry, Bhante.
Yes.
Are you showing the changing in my screen, Bhante?
Yeah, because the problem is
yes.
this area in this area there is a flux in the connection. Sorry for that.
No problem, Bhante.
So I'll just, okay, sorry. I'll just read it. Then present participle has three meanings. It can be used as a noun. It can be used as a adjective, and sometimes it can be used as an absolute. In some grammar books, we find that some Teras teachers say present participle cannot be used instead of a verb. They say it cannot. Advanced means books written by certain shadows, they have used the present participle instead of a verb. For example, so gamang gacchanto hoti, instead of gacchati, they use gacchanto hoti. In Sri Lanka, traditionally we say the present participle cannot be used thus, but in some Myanmar books we have seen that they are using it as a verb. So, but in the Tipitaka, it may be found, but if even it is found, it should be very rare. It should be very rare. So these are normally the three functions of the present participle. It can be used as a noun. It's, for example, if we say gacchanto. If we say ahang gacchantam pasami, I see the one who is going. Ahang gacchantam pasami, just using it as a noun. Gacchantam pasami. Then sometimes we can say ahang gacchantam purisang pasam. Gacchantam purisang pasam means I see the man who is going. I see the man who is going. So that is I hope you can see now. Is it?
Yes, Bhante, we can
Yes,
see.
Bhante.
Okay. Ahang. Wait. It's too small. Gacchantam pasami. So here I see the one who is going. So this is just acting as a normal noun. Then we use it as an adjective. The same sentence we can say ahang gacchantam purisang pasami.
Bhante, yeah.
Yeah, I see the man. Yes, he's going. Yes, Sally.
The font is very small. Could you please
Hello.
make a big size? Could you make a big size? It's very small because some friends they use a phone, so cannot see clearly.
How about now?
And now it's okay.
Now is okay? Is it? Right?
Yes.
So then ahang gacchantam purisang pasam. I see the man who is going. Then as an absolute, when we say aha, now absolute can be now as a noun and adjective, present participle can have any sort of case ending. It depends on the posture. It becomes when it comes to absolute, we have to use either in the locative case, either in the genitive case, or nominative case. Rarely we have accusative according to Western grammarians, and according to the Venerable Lady Sayadaw mentioned in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, we have ablative case. So these are the five cases. The accusative and ablative, we just leave it part. We'll talk about the locative, genitive, and nominative. Locative case is used when we want to say it, because absolute means one noun is being expressed by another. One verb is action is expressed by another action. So if the both, I have already mentioned, same person, right? Both actions are done by the same person. So in this case, now if we go back to the Sangamuji Sutta, you can see in this case, both the actions are done by the same person, the former wife of the Venerable Sangamuji. because she went not very far. Sangamajissa Purana Dutika Abhidurang Gantva. Then Apalokenti. She was looking. She is the one who was looking. So when she was looking, she saw. So Apalokenti explains the action of Addasa. When did he see? When did she see? While she was looking. So this is called Bhavalakkana. This Apalokenti is absolute. It explains when did the main verb occur, when action happened. So since both the actions were done by the same person, that is to say the former wife of Venerable Sangamaji, we use the nominative case, Apalokenti, right? If you are not familiar with this E ending, please go to the present participles, feminine gender nouns. When you want to change the present participle masculine noun into feminine noun, we use E at the end, right? E at the end. So sometimes N can be dropped. In some cases, in this Ant, N can be dropped. So for example, Gachati, right? Gachati, Apaloketi. But I'm not very sure about when it comes to the A ending nouns, because there is a Churadigana, a suffix, conjugational sign. In that, it's not very commonly seen with the E without the N. So in some nouns, like for example, Gachant become Gachanti in feminine. And also it becomes Gachati without the N. So in feminine gender, sometimes the N can be dropped. So here with the N, so that's why it's Apalokenti. It's a nominative singular noun of feminine gender. Addasa. So what did he see? What did she see? What did she see? She saw Ayasmantan Sangamajing Tan Darakan Neva Olokentan Napi Alapanta. If you look at this phrase can be found also in the previous sentence, right? If you look at the phrase, you can see this part and this part. So these were the dividends of the Sandhi. So I'll erase them because it's easy to understand. Napi Alapi. So now you can see this phrase, entire phrase. Now in this sentence, Venerable Sangamaji was the subject of the action. He neither looked at the child nor did converse with the child. So now Venerable Buddha saw this Venerable Sangamaji who was not looking at the child and who was not conversing with the child. So now in the first sentence, you can see Ayasma Sangamaji is in nominative case, Olo case in Apalana, Tandarakang is in the accusative case, then Olo Kesi and Alapi are the verbs, right? Olo Kesi, Alapi are the verbs. They are connected with Na. So didn't look, didn't converse. That is the sentence. So now this entire sentence has become an objective clause in the next sentence. Buddha did so, Venerable Sangamaji, who was not conversing, who was not looking at the child, who was not conversing with the child. So now you can see the subject of nominative case subject here has changed into accusative case object. So because he's the object of Addasa. He's the one Buddha saw. Then Tandarakan remains in the accusative case because in Tandarakan here now in this sentence, Tandarakang is the object of Olokesi and Alapi. The action of looking and action of talking of Sangamaji done by Sangamaji. Object is Tandaraka. Here also, Tandarakang is the object of Olokenti and Alapanti. It's not the object of Addasa. Object of Addasa is Ayasmantang. Olokentang and Alapantang also has a verbal meaning. All the past participle, present participles has their own verbal meanings. So they have their own object, they have their own instrument, they have their own dative. So here, Tandarakan still remains the object of the Olokentang and Alapantang, right? So then, in the previous sentence, Olokesi and Alapi, they were verbs. They were the verbs done by the subject. Now the actions done by the subject, it became the verb. Now, if the action is done by the object, object means accusative object. If the object is an accusative case And if the object is doing an action, normally we use it in the participle form, either present participle or the future past participle. The object is doing a certain action, verbal form, because the verb belongs to the nominative case. This is conventionally saying, absolutely this is not a proper saying, but however, for the easiness, the verb belongs to the nominative word. Either it's a so normally here it becomes a subject, right? So verb belongs to the nominative subject. It's in the normally it's in the nominative case. So therefore, the accusative object, the action of the accusative object, we cannot write in the verb. It has to be written in its verbal meaning should be there. The action should be there, but it cannot be written in the verb. So then we can instead use the participles. Participles are nouns. At the same time, they have the verbal meanings. So here in this case, Sangha, Buddha saw Venerable Sangha Muji, who was not looking at the child, who was not conversing with the child. So here, the verbs of the previous sentence has become participles, right? And because the Buddha didn't see who was not talking, and it was for past continuous form, in the continuous form, so we use the present participle here. So I hope you got the point. I think this similar kind of usage was written in the Jatila Sutta in the previous week, Jatila Sutta. I hope everyone can see the notes. So in the first paragraph, it's the Anya Titya Sambahula Jatila, Umujjantipi, this is a verb, Nimujjantipi, Umujja Nimujjampi Karanti. They are all verbs, Umujjanti, Nimujjanti, Karanti. But then Buddha saw these Jatilas who were doing these actions. So Jatilas became the accusative object of the next paragraph. Buddha became the subject, not the Jatilas. But Jatilas were still doing their actions. So their actions, which were written in the verbal form, verb in the previous paragraph, was written in the participles. So that's why Bhagava, Jatil, instead of Jatila become Jatile, the accusative case. Then Umujjantepi, Nimujjantepi, Umujja Nimujjan Karante. So these are not verbs, these are present participles. So this is another idea that we have to keep in mind. So comparatively, in one sentence, the subject is doing the action. If that subject becomes the object in the next sentence, accusative object, that action, instead of writing in the verb, we have to write in a participle form. It can be a present participle or it can be a past participle. So these are the points that these are the point that I want to emphasize in this sentence. If you have any questions, please ask, because this is for some students it can be a little bit complicated.
Bhante?
Yes, brother Robin.
For the nominative absolute, like, is there any specific way that we can spot that at that time that is absolute, or like we just discern it from the context, Bhante?
Actually, normally if it is only thing is if the present participle is written, a present participle or past participle is written in the nominative case, we have only two options, right? Two or three. It can be either noun, it can be an adjective, it can be an absolute. These are the three options that we have. If it is the noun, if it is a noun, because it's written in nominative case, right? It's in nominative case. If it is a noun, there should not be any other noun in the nominative case because it will represent the subject. If it is the subject noun, right? So if you look into if I go to the lecture notes, it will be more clear. So now, if it is if we write this example, noun example, another example, Gacchanto, right? rukkam passati. Right? Gacchanto rukkam passati. So here, since there is no other nominative case, we translate this sentence normally. One who is going sees the tree. One who is going sees the tree. This can also, someone can argue this as an absolute meaning, but grammatically this is a, because there is only one noun. So in nominative case, so that has to be, the absolute is the noun, is the subject actually. So this is the subject. If the absolute is the accusative noun, for example, a different noun, then we don't need to bother because it will not appear in the nominative case. So the nominative absolute has to appear in the nominative case. So it can sometimes get confused with the subject. So here, if it is the subject, there should not be, with the adjective, sometimes it can get little gacchanto puriso rukkam passati. So the man who is going sees a tree. Sees the tree. So here normally, but this I cannot say it as an absolute exact rule. Normally the adjective can come before the noun, or it has to be understood in the context. Sees the tree. But if it is nominative absolute, for example, now in this case, how it will appear? Puriso gacchanto rukkam passati. Right? Puriso gacchanto rukkam passati. The man sees the tree while going. Right? So I think I hope this will make it clear. Gacchanto rukkam passati. One who goes sees the tree. Gacchanto puriso rukkam passati. The man who is going sees the tree. Puriso gacchanto rukkam passati. The man sees the tree while going. This is how we normally translate these sentences. So the confusion, this, if it is a noun, it's very easy because there should not be any noun used in the nominative case. There should not be any other noun in the nominative case. So we can guess it can be the noun. The absolute is the noun. Adjective or whether it's an absolute form.
Hi Bhante. Hello. Hello. Hi Bhante, can you hear me?
I think Bhante is still talking by himself.
Okay.
Hello. Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, Bhante.
Yeah. Sorry for that. Because the electricity went off. There are lots of problems. Sorry for that. Electricity suddenly. Now I'm using the data. Hello.
Yes, Bhante.
So because it is whether it's an adjective or an absolute. Sometimes we know in Pali, adjective can come, confusion that can happen. So in that case, whether to understand it's an adjective or whether it's an absolute, whether it's an adjective or absolute, depends on understanding the context, as you said.
Thank you, Bhante.
I hope it was clear. Or do you have any questions further?
So,
Hi,
Bhante,
Bhante.
Yes.
I think that is like the question that we had before. I had the question before, and then we just answered it.
Hello.
Hello.
Doctor. Yeah.
Yes. So and from you answered last time, my understanding from your
Sorry.
answer last time is that the adjective and nominative absolute are basically two different terms, two different terminologies for one thing. That was my understanding from the explanation last time. Because to me, in fact, these two examples, I don't see any difference between these two examples. The example for the adjective and the example for the nominative absolute.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yes, in like last time I mentioned the thing in the last explanation. I'll go to Udāna. Pāļi. Right. So the question we had was regarding which sutta? I forgot actually. One deity discussing with the Buddha, right? Sutta or Tito, Ekamantan Tito ko. This sentence, Sammo. So then the next stood by side, Ekamantan Tito ko so Brahmano. Right? So as the Brahmin who Buddha. So then instead of saying it as an adjective, we can also use it as an gerund form. We can use comes behind, like after the noun normally. Brahmano ekamantantito panham puchati. Right. For example, the same sentence. If the tito comes in the middle of the sentence, we can use it as an absolute. Why I say this is Venerable Lady Sayadaw in his Nirutti Dipani, when he's explaining about this gerund.
Bhante,
Form, he used to form, which is not explained in the tradition.
Bhante.
This example that last time we discussed, because in that I said this can be used
Bhante
as
Magga?
an adjective.
Bhante?
Was this the?
Oh, we cannot hear.
Hello?
Yes, Panya.
Yeah,
Your connection is really poor, so we couldn't hear anything. So
you couldn't hear anything.
Yes, you explain a lot, but we couldn't hear anything.
Oh, sorry for that. I'll explain again. So I think Dr. Ryan's question was, isn't the absolute and the nominative case are, absolute is using as an adjective in the nominative case, and we are talking it as, sometimes we talk it as an absolute, isn't it the same? Last time we explained, if you look at the, I think everyone can see the screen. This is the Huhunka Sutta, second paragraph. The Brahmin came and stood beside the Buddha. That was the first sentence. Sammodhaniyang katan saraniyang viti saritva ekamantang attasi. Then ekamantang tito koso brahmano bhagavantang etadavocha. So this one, ekamantang tito, once I explained that as an tattva, ekamantang tattva, having stood beside. But traditionally they would say ekamantang tito means tito brahmano. Tito is an adjective of the Brahmin. Adjective of the Brahmin. So what today what I'm explaining is if tito comes after the noun, like ekamantam brahmano ekamantam tito. If we write this sentence in another way, brahmano ekamantam tito bhagavantang etad vocha. So here we normally translate this as the Brahmin having stood beside, he said this to the Buddha. So this is what I mean as an absolute. But as Dr. Ryan says, they have no any specific difference. They are identically they are very identically the same, because even we say the Brahmin who was standing asked the question, or the Brahmin having stood asked the question. So they are very, very similar in the meaning. So that's what I was meaning in that sentence. Tito is adjective of Brahmana, but personally I feel it's equal to a gerund form. But now, as an absolute, if we use, normally we use it after the noun. Brahmano ekamantang tito bhagavantang etadevocha. The Brahmin having stood beside asked the question. So instead of saying tito, we can also use tattva here. Meaning will be same. Is it what you were referring? Hello.
Yeah, I could hear you okay, Bhante. So from my understanding,
Yeah.
and the order of the words in Pali sentences are not that important. But based
Yes.
on what you've been explaining, then, so in this case, in order to distinguish between an adjective and the absolute, then we have to, based on the order of the words in the sentence.
Yes, that's because your question is very nice. Yes. Normally we say the word order doesn't matter much in Pali, but there are few instances where the word order matters. So like, for example, genitive case and so forth. And sometimes this relative clause, sometimes I feel it do matters. So yeah, but actually if you go to the essence of the meaning, this is not a problem. This is the essence will be the same, will be the identical. Why the nominative absolute, normally it is not explained in Kachayana and all these grammar, but Venerable Lady Shadow says that this is a nominate Puriso Gamang Gachanto Rukkam Pasi. For example, the note we wrote in the lecture notes. So in that case, when the Puriso Gachanto Rukkam Pasi, he gives this as a nominative absolute. That's why I came into this explanation. But as you said, if he follows this strictly, in this case, word order has mattered in Pali. But if you go to the essence, this will not be, the meaning will be identical. So this absolute, if you ask from normally the nominative absolute, students who have mastered the Kachayana, they would say absolute is only written in normally it's written in locative and genitive cases. So yeah, this is I'm using some information given in Nirutadipani and trying to build up this. Yes, so if you, in this case, I would say word order does matters, but it doesn't affect the meaning.
I see. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Just using a technical term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for your question. It's a very good question.
So Bhante, I have another
Yeah.
question regarding this. Like the Mahasatipatthana Sutta in the Iriyapatha part, when we say Bhikkhu Gacchando wa Gacchami di Pajanati. So Bhikkhu Gacchando, so this is a nominative absolute, right?
Yeah, while going.
Yes. So the following is a Tido wa Tido midi Pajanati, Nise no wa Nise no midi Pajanati. So the Bhikkhu are vomit, right?
Yes, Bhikkhu is omitted. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Okay. This is another very good question. So the thing is, I think I understood your question. Like if the we also mentioned if there are 2-3 sentences close by and they have the same subject, we don't need to write the subject in the preceding sentences, right? So in that case, why do we omit the subject? Because the subject is explained in the first sentence. Gacchanto va gaccamiti pajanati, nisinno va nisinno pajanati. So we understand that as a bhikkhu is found in the beginning. Punacha param bhikkave bhikkhu gacchanto va gaccamiti pajanati, nisinno va nisinno miti pajanati. So that is a different rule, that we don't need to repeat the subject if the subject is the same. So therefore, in such cases, we need to know the subject is being written. So the simile I gave, that if there is the subject, it's not regarding these kind of examples.
okay. I mean, in this sentence, they also you see, Gacchendo is present participle.
Yes.
Tido is a past participle.
Yes.
And Nisino also past participle. So that means within one sentence, we can use present participle and past participle also.
Present participle, past participle, tito and nisinno are actually, even tito and nisinno, even though they are past participles, they have the present participle meaning. Because now I sat in the chair at 9:20, but still I am sitting. So even though I said ahang asane nisinno, so I was referring to the action, the beginning, initial action of sitting, but I'm still continuously sitting. So this tito and nisinno, even though they are past participles, so if we are referring to that action, if the person is still sitting and if the person is still standing, they have the present participle meaning. They are very unique nouns, tito and nisinno.
I see. Okay, that means like a continuous action.
Yes, continuous. So if it's referring to the first initial action of standing, initial action of sitting, but if someone still keeps on standing, we refer it as tito, but it actually tittanto is the meaning, because he's still standing.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay, I can
sorry.
help Bhante.
Yes,
so there's
right.
like a follow-up question. So based on your explanation, then analogously, we can say that if the sentence is ahang purisang gaccantang passami, then in that case, then gaccantang is no longer adjective, but it's the accusative absolute.
That's another very good question. So in that sentence, in that sense, we can get the meaning that he was seeing while the man was walking, right? So even if you say based on the Nirutadipani explanation, this is an accusative absolute, I would not reject that idea personally. Then a question comes, we can say ahang purisang ahang purisang sunakena gaccantena saddhim passami. Then in that case, we can have all the cases in that usage. So traditionally, they would say ahang purisang gaccantang passami they say it as a not as an adjective. They say I see the man has come into the action of walking. So it is like a two objects. They say it's a pakati kamma, vikati kamma. Two objects are there. So that's what grammatically explain it. Your question is very nice. What I'm saying is can lead to more confusion. I know that. So in that case, they don't use it as an accusative absolute. But I understand your question, because if I say ahang puriso gamang gacchanto rukkam passami, if it is a nominative absolute, then ahang purisang gacchantam passami should be an accusative absolute. So technically, I asked this question from my Abhivansa friend. This seems like an absolute. So they say they would call it accusative. Two types of kamma. The purisa is the real kamma. Gaccantang is that he has come into a change of purisa has come into a change of walking. So they use it as two kammas, not even as an adjective.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but if you want to get precise, I also thought this, I also argued with myself that this should be, if Venerable Lady Sayadaw says it's a nominative absolute, the ahang purisang gacchantam should be an accusative absolute. So this is my personal idea. But traditionally, they are very precise in the terminologies. They say it's a vikati kamma. Personally, because I stand with the Lady Sayadaw's explanation of the nominative absolute, so automatically I prefer, as you said, as you asked the question, it should be an accusative absolute. But traditionally, they don't allow me to say like that.
I see. Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Bhante?
Yes, Brother Obi. Yeah.
I want to continue the one that Sayalay asked, that the Tito and Nisino, Bhante. But they said that it has kind of shape of continuous present participle action like that, Bhante. Is that only for Tito and Nisino, Bhante? How about the other past participle, Bhante?
Sayano also possible, but Sayano comes as a present participle. For example, Saito. For lying down also we can use this actually. Saito, Saita. So this the past participles which has the
here use Tito, Nisino, Sayano.
Yeah. Which can in which the present past participles in which the present participle meaning can be found are these nouns like Tita, Nisinna, then Saita. But normally it comes as Sayano. Sayana is a present participle. Sayana is a present participle. So therefore, the thing is now Tita, Nisinna, and Saita, because we talk about the initial action. When we started this action of sitting, standing, and lying down. So even though we still continue that, this past participle is referring to that initial action of standing, sitting, and lying down. So that's why I use the past participle. But still, as long as we are sitting, we are still doing the action. But Saita, Sayana is the word that comes mostly, not Saita.
Okay, Bhante. So it's not really common, right, Bhante? It's quite rare. Can we say
Saita is not very common.
I mean that
it's not very common.
I mean that the past participle that has the present meaning, Bhante. It's quite rare, maybe.
For the lying down, it's not very common. But for the Tita and Nisinna, we don't say Nisidanto, Tiktanto. It's very rarely found, these words. Tita and Nisinna is the words we found.
Okay, Bhante. Thank you so much, Bhante.
Okay. So the last part of the sentence. So Addasaku, the last part. Shall we finish it then? So this one aside, asa is a feminine gender, genitive case, or you can use it as D, doesn't matter. If a thought arises to you, it is written in the genitive or genitive person whom it arises. Asa is to that woman who was the Sangamadi's former wife. Eta the hosi, this thought occurs to him. This one in a piatiku, right? Right? He rejected the wife. He didn't talk with the wife in the beginning, and then wife kept the son and thought that at least he would care about the son. So this samano is the recluse. This recluse is not puttenapi attiko. We'll just leave this api for a while. Puttena attiko. Puttena attiko means, I think I have given it in the vocabulary explanation. If you are in need of someone, if you are in need of something, so we have to use the word attika, right? Attika is a nominative it refer to the person who needs it. Then the thing you need, the person whom you need in need of, or the thing you need is written in the instrumental case. So puttena attiko means in need of a son. So if you are looking for, someone is looking for wishing for a son, he needs the help of a son. So then we call puttena attiko for a male. If it's a female, puttena attika. So this recluse, puttena attiko, this means in need of a son. Then na means doesn't, is not in need of a son. Api refers to the meaning of even. It refers to the meaning of even, because now what the wife thought, sometimes the husband may give up the wife, but it's very difficult for a father to give up the son. So maybe at least because of the child, he will return to the lay life. That's what she was thinking. So even he is not interested about his own son. Even. So api here gives the meaning even. So there's nothing to say about myself. There's nothing to say about the others. So that's what she was thinking. So Nechayang samano puttenapi attiko. So if you go into this explanation further for the lecture notes, so I have given this in the vocabulary. Attika, the word attika. So attika means in need of. So then if we are in need of something, to what is in need, what is needed, right? So if a monk is in need of a ball, bhikkhu, pattena is a ball, attiko. Then if you say bhikkhuni, shivarena attika, she is in need of a robe. So the thing is, instrumental case should be written to what is needed, right? That is the grammatical point that we need to discuss here. Then if we go further to the next sentence, we find then tato patinivattitva darakang adaya pakka. Patinivattitva means having returned. She stopped and having returned. Tato from there. So because she stopped at one place, she stopped and looked at Venerable Sangamadi at one place. From that place, tato, from that place, patinivattitva, having come back. Darakang adaya pakkami. Having took the child, she went away. Pakkami, she went away. So Addasako Bhagava Dibena Chakuna Visuddhena Atikkanta Manusukena Ayasmato Sangamajissa Purana Dutikaya Eva Rupam Vipakara. So here Addasa is the verb, Addasa, Buddha so. So object of this verb is Vipakarang. Vipakarang is this improper action. Eva Rupam Vipakarang. This improper action. Right? This kind of improper action. Eva Rupam Vipakarang. Whose improper action? Ayasmato Sangamajissa Purana Dutikaya. So action is connected to Purana Dutikaya. This is genitive case, Dutikaya. Then Purana Dutikaya is connected to Ayasmato Sangamaji of Venerable Sangamaji. The action is connected to the former wife is connected to the former husband, Venerable Ayasmato Sangamaji. All are written in genitive case. This genitive case of Purana Dutika is connected to the Eva Rupam Vipakara. Then this genitive case of Ayasmato Sangamajissa is connected to the Purana Dutika. So the Buddha saw, what did he see? Action is connected to this former wife is connected to Venerable Sangamaji. Then what did Versad one saw? Buddha is the Bhagava is the nominative subject. He saw it with his divine eye. Dibbena Chakuna Visuddhena Atikkanta Manusake. So he saw it with the eye. It's not a normal eye because we have 5 types of eyes. We have Samanta Chakku, Dibba Chakku, Buddha Chakku, Dhamma Chakku, and Panya Chakku. Right? So for the students who are interested in some Dhamma knowledge, so we have 5 types of eyes. One is we have it's actually 6 types. We have Mansa Chakku. Mansa Chakku is and we have Pasada Chakku. These are both are material. Rupa. Mansa Chakku is the flesh eye, which we normally call the eye in our normal usage. The Pasada Chakku is the eye sensitivity. Then we have the Samanta Chakku. Samanta Chakku is the omniscient knowledge. Wisdom. Then we have the Buddha Chakku. Buddha Chakku is 2 wisdoms of Buddha. Indriya Paro Pariyatte Jnana and Asaya Anusaya Jnana. These are the 2 wisdom, Buddha Chakku. Then we have Dhamma Chakku. Dhamma Chakku is a technical term. It refers to the lower noble paths, not the highest one. It doesn't include the Arahanta Magga. Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Aragami path wisdom. The wisdom of both of lower noble paths. 3 noble paths. Then we have Samanta Chakku, Buddha Chakku, Dhamma Chakku, Dibba Chakku. Dibba Chakku is the divine eye. It is attained with Abhiññana. Then we have Panya Chakku. Panya Chakku is the understanding of 4 noble truths and all the remaining wisdoms. Panya Chakku. So these are the 7 types of Chakkus that we find in our literature. So Mansa Chakku and Pasada Chakku we have to differentiate for Vipassana practice. So the remaining 5 are related to Nama, wisdom. Right? So here Dibba Chakku, he saw it with the divine eye, Buddha. So that divine eye is being explained with adjectival forms. Visuddhena, purified. It's very pure from all the defilements. Nivarana. Atikkanta manusakena, haven't gone beyond the human eye, because human eye has a limitation in seeing, but this Dibba Chakku has a very wide range. So this is what the explanation is. Then the Atako Bhagava Etamattang Gritva Tayang Velayang Imang Udānam Ubādesi. Having known this incident, the Buddha uttered this utterance at that time. So this is what we want to discuss. I was planning to discuss the next sutta, but we'll do it in the tomorrow. I'll also send, because tomorrow's sutta is a very short one. I hope we can do 2 suttas, so I'll send you another vocabulary on this. And I'll skip the gathas. I'm planning after we do because I'll be doing some suttas from the Muchalinda Vagga before we go to the Bahya Sutta, because Bahya Sutta is quite long and we can learn a lot with that sutta, a lot of grammatical points. Then after Bahya Sutta, I'll be taking but after doing some few suttas, I'll be coming to Bahya Suttas, some very short suttas taken from here and there in the Udāna Pāļi. Then we'll come to the Bahya. After doing the Bahya Sutta, we'll go through all the verses that we have skipped. And then from that onwards, when we ever do a sutta, we do the text and the gatha all together and finish and go to another sutta. Up to now, we'll be skipping the gathas because I want students to get familiar with the Pāļi reading first. So shall we call it a day then?
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you so much, Bhante.
Okay, sadhu. So wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.